Welcome to our World History Notes, where I read from the book that I wrote to teach homeschoolers world history. A Bible believer looks at world history. You can find it on lulu.com, excuse me, amazon.com, or the Bible Baptist Bookstore. And if you ever mind, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to discuss some notable religious figures today and movements just briefly. It's going to be a very short one, I think. And we'll move on to pirates and then slave trade. So now we're talking about activities purely in the sphere of religion in the 1700s. In the Catholic Church, the Society of Jesus, known as the Jesuits, had become so involved worldwide in the political affairs of nations as well as the economic affairs, they were actually expelled from many countries for their meddling. In 1773, Pope Clement XIV wrote a brief of dissolution. The order's general, Father Ricci, was even imprisoned and died in confinement. Their intrusion in commerce and politics in many European countries have been disastrous for those countries, with their negative influence going all the way to Japan and China. European opinion was that when Clement died 14 months after signing the brief, it was by the hand of the Jesuits who had become so powerful, with plantations, excuse me, operated by slaves, manufacturers, and a worldwide financial and political empire at stake. Jesuit priests have become the confessors of many European kings, princes, queens, and princesses, and instigated wars or at least had a hand in their initiation. However, they were reestablished in Europe by Pope Pius VII in 1814. One of their supporters called this reestablishment an act of counter-revolution. Nevertheless, they were finally expelled from Russia, even Russia, by 1820. The society was virtually reborn, however, in the 19th century. In 1652, as a reaction to the established Church of England, a preacher named George Fox founded the Quakers, also known as the Society of Friends, a pacifist Christian group. The Pennsylvania colony, excuse me, founded by William Penn, was to be a refuge for Quakers, four of which had been executed in the Massachusetts Bay Colony by Puritans, just as Rhode Island had been founded by a Baptist minister, Roger Williams, who, among others, was forced to flee that persecution. Presbyterians have also featured prominently in United States history. The Reverend Francis McKemmy, who arrived in the U.S. from Ireland in 1683, helped to organize the first American presbytery at Philadelphia in 1706. 1726, the Reverend William Tennant founded a ministerial log college in Pennsylvania. 20 years later, the College of New Jersey, now known as Princeton University, was established. Other Presbyterian ministers, such as the Reverend Jonathan Edwards and the Reverend Gilbert Tennant, were driving forces in the so-called Great Awakening, a revivalist movement in the early 18th century. One of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, the Reverend John Witherspoon, was a Presbyterian minister and the president of Princeton University from 1768 to 1793. Preacher John Wesley is given credit for founding the Methodist Church in London in 1739. The above-mentioned churches, among many other groups, had a great influence in American history in particular. So next we're going to discuss a little about pirates, just so you know a few basic things, and then I want to go on to another very important topic, slave trade. Then we'll draw some conclusions from this time period and move on. I thank you for listening. I hope that you'll study world history, come to your own conclusions. This is just a survey. This is just skimming the surface. So just so you're conversant, you have some ideas, and I hope you'll study and dig deep. Thank you.